clash of civilizations came in response to the end of history. It is a hypothesis that tells that in future people cultural and religious identities will be the primary source of conflict after Cold War. While theory of end of history told that after Cold War there will be no ideological conflicts because Western liberal democracy is the last form of human government. It was presented by political scientist Samuel P. Huntington in 1992. He was the teacher of Fukuyama who presented theory of the end of history. Huntington wrote The Clash of Civilization in response to his former student Fukuyama's in 1992 book The End of History and the Lost Man. Huntington later expanded his thesis in a book written in 1996, The Clash of Civilization and the Remarking of World Order. Let's discuss some key points of his thesis. In his thesis, he argued that primary source of conflicts in future will be along cultural and religious identities. In 1993, Huntington wrote in an article that I am not desirable that clash of civilization should be happen in future, but it is just to set forth descriptive hypothesis that how the future may be like. He wrote in the first world history was mainly about the struggle between monarchs, nations, and ideologies, such as seen with Western civilization. Means conflict were based on monarchs, nation, and ideologies. But after the end of Cold War, world politics has entered into a new phase in which non-Western civilizations are no longer the exploited ones. In the past, Western would exploit non-Western by making them their colonies. Now the non-Western civilization became an additional important actor, joining the West to shape and move world's history. They will equally play their role in world history. Uh, Huntington divided worlds into nine major civilizations. Western civilization, he included America, Canada, Alaska, Britain, Spain, Germany, France, etc. Orthodox consist of Russia and those 14 states who were separated from Russia. Islamic civilization include Middle East, South Asian Muslim countries, African Muslim countries. Africa, African civilization include Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Kenya, etc. Sinic include of China. Hindus civilization include of India, Bhutan, and Nepal. Latin American civilization, Central America and South America. Buddhist civilization, Japanese civilization. He called some country as lone countries. They are Ethiopia and Haiti. Why he called them mm, uh, uh, lone country? Because according to Huntington, their civilization is different from all other civilization. He included some countries into the list of cleft countries because they contain very large groups of people identifying with separate civilization. Huntington kept Israel in a unique state. He called Israel a unique state and consider it has a unique religion. Why civilization will clash? Huntington offered six explanations for why civilization will clash. First explanation: there are large differences between the civilizations. They are differentiated from each other by history, language, culture, tradition, and most importantly by religion. These differences are from centuries, which cannot be disappear. Second explanation: due to technological revolution, world became a smaller place. Due to this, interaction across the globe are increasing, which intensify civilization consciousness and awareness of differences between civilization within civilizations. Now, what is civilization consciousness? Uh, for example, when a person interacts with another person and he has different civilization, and if they are eating together and one of them deny eating a food, saying it is not allowed in my culture or religion, this is civilization consciousness. His third explanation was due to economic modernization and social change, people are separated from long standing local identities. His fourth explanation was the growth of civilization consciousness is enhanced by the dual rule of the West. On the one hand, the West is at a peak of power; at the same time, a return to the roots phenomenon is occurring among non-Western civilizations. A West at the peak of its power confronts non-Western countries that increasingly have the desire, the will, and the resources to shape the world in non-Western way. His fifth explanation was that cultural characteristics and differences are less mutable and hence less easily compromised and resolved than political and economic one. His sixth explanation was economic regionalism is increasing. Successful economic regionalism will reinforce civilization consciousness. Economic regionalism may succeed only when it is rooted in a common civilization. Criticism. So Huntington's theory, the clash of civilization, has been criticized by many political scientists, and it has been fallen under the stern critique of various academic writers who have empirically, historically, and ideologically challenged his views. I am presenting those slides. You can watch them and you can understand them by yourself that how the different political scientists have criticized their his views and his thesis on the clash of civilization, that how would why civilization will be clash, and why the future conflicts uh, will be on the basis of civilization, and his thesis are criticized by many uh, political and scientists. You should view them by yourself and you can understand them by yourself. There are some opposing concept also came. Uh, First was came from the Iranian president in 2001. He argued that uh, dialogue should be conducted among the civilization. Thus, we can escape the clash of civilization. And United Nations Organization argued, United Nations Organization argued that alliance should be made among the civilization. Thus, we should escape the clash of civilizations.